The supernatural birth of Christ, his miracles, his resurrection and ascension, remain eternal truths, whatever doubts may be cast on their reality as historical facts. I think people are just intrigued with the supernatural. I mean, I know that I am. It's something that I find very interesting. The very idea of supernatural magic, including miracles, is incoherent, devoid of sensible meaning. I would bend over backward to be back on Grey's. Any day, I'll choose lying in bed with Katherine Heigl looking over me over getting thrown against walls by supernatural persons at 5 in the morning. God is not accustomed to refusing a good gift to those who ask for one. Since he is good, and especially to those who are faithful to him, let us hold fast to him with all our soul, our heart, our strength, and so enjoy his light and see his glory and possess the grace of supernatural joy. When I am writing, I do not distinguish between the natural and supernatural. Everything seems real. That is my world, you could say. A changeling is one child substituted for another. I couldn't find anything more apt. We had to kind of fight that supernatural element in the publicity, and I offered to try and find another title, but Clint liked it, and it stayed. I was raised Jewish and fully embrace the core beliefs of Judaism, the ones that I identify as core beliefs, which are essentially freedom and justice. But the supernatural aspects of religion were never important to me. I like something where I can really use my imagination and be an active participant in the construction of the monster, and usually that's in the world of the supernatural or the world of the fantastic. So that's why those kinds of stories about demons and the supernatural appeal to me, or maybe I'm really interested in that subject. Real genius is nothing else but the supernatural virtue of humility in the domain of thought. I love the action stuff. Honestly, I like sci-fi and everything supernatural. The word diva to me means doing something supernatural with something natural. I call religion a natural authority, but it has usually been conceived as a supernatural authority. I think what draws people into supernatural is that when all is said and done, and the ash from the various apocalypses settle, it's about the brothers. Even though there's cool fights in this and cool special effects, and there's superheroes, in the end, it is about family. Two families. The family by blood and family by choice. We understand tornadoes scientifically, but it still feels supernatural. The randomness makes it feel supernatural. There aren't a lot of supernatural things that I'm scared or super terrified of, but clowns are definitely on that list. I prefer to write about what we refer to as the supernatural versus everyday life. Humans, by themselves, bore me. I love the idea that magic and witchcraft and battles between supernatural creatures could be raging all around us but just out of our sight. You take fantasies, which for thousands of years belonged to the religious realm, overcoming death or are merging with the universe, and you suddenly start talking about them in a more technical perspective as something that can be achieved, not after you die with the help of supernatural beings, but in this very life with the help of technology. Science operates in the natural, not the supernatural. In fact, I go so far as to state that there is no such thing as the supernatural or the paranormal. Christianity is either supernatural or nothing at all. Like all alchemists, Trump seeks to convert dross into gold, to toss a broth of his incompetence, denial, delay, deception, and failure into some supernatural alembic and extract political advantage. Has made an honest woman of the supernatural. I grew up in a small town in Kansas, so I love meeting the fans. Those are the people who spend time out of their day to watch the things that I've done. And I've gotten to do some great supernatural stuff, Teen Wolf and The Gates before that, so it's nice when I get to go to Comic-Con every year. The question of whether there exists a supernatural creator, a god, is one of the most important that we have to answer. I think that it is a scientific question. My answer is no. The sea is only the embodiment of a supernatural and wonderful existence. I was very unhappy about being killed off on Supernatural in Season 7. In any authoritarian society, the possessor of power dictates, and if you try and step outside, he will come after you. This is equally true of Sovietism, of China, and of Iran, and in our time it has happened a lot in Islam. The point is that it's worse when the authoritarianism is supported by something supernatural. The supernatural is the natural not yet understood. Belief in the supernatural reflects a failure of the imagination. The dreams which reveal the supernatural are promises and messages that God sends us directly. They are nothing but His angels, his ministering spirits, who usually appear to us when we are in a great predicament. Plant diseases, drought, desolation, despair were recurrent catastrophes during the ages, and the ancient remedies, supplications to supernatural spirits or gods. Most believers struggle to really believe in the supernatural as a meaningful, deterministic reality except during moments when they are drawn to it, perhaps during a worship service or while reading a novel like Adam. Being drawn to this truth is the first step to living a life in accordance to this truth. There is something about the South that accepts the supernatural. If you don't accept it and you're having a conversation with someone who does, it's just one of those polite things where you don't question their belief in ghosts. You just go, oh, yeah, okay. It's amazing to be able to have conversations like that. I've always been into the horror genre, so I've seen a lot of movies with ghosts and supernatural stuff. As a musician, I tell you that if you were to suppress adultery, fanaticism, crime, evil, the supernatural, there would no longer be the means for writing one note. Only the supernatural love of God through changed lives can solve the problems that we face in our world. Until recently, we regarded love as supernatural. We were willing to study the brain chemistry of fear and depression and anger but not love. The good thing with Insidious and The Further is that it's so nebulous, this supernatural world, that it allows you to bend things. There's a lot of room, it's very malleable, like how in the second film we had a lot of time travel. I miss the cast and crew of Supernatural immensely. I know it's a cliché to say your cast and crew are like your family, but it's really the case there. The ideas I had about supernatural beings came to me the same way that my mathematical ideas did, so I took them seriously. The hypothesis of matters being at first evenly spread through the heavens is, in my opinion, inconsistent with the hypothesis of innate gravity without a supernatural power to reconcile them, and therefore, it infers a deity. We know that men are saved by repentance and faith, and whoever does call upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. But salvation is a supernatural work of God that will always produce fruit. And the evidence, not the cause, but the evidence of salvation is a changed life, a changing life. I walk in the realm of the supernatural. The greatest question of all is whether our experience on this planet is it, or whether there is something else. Things in the supernatural realm give support, strangely perhaps, to the things we take on faith. The magical, supernatural force that is with us every second is time. We can't even comprehend it. It's such an illusion, it's such a strange thing. With supernatural type of movies, if they're not done correctly, there are a lot of actors just running and screaming and looking scared for an hour and 40, and that can get a bit old. God's interventions are miracles, events that cannot happen by merely natural agents but only by a supernatural agent. They no more interfere with our free will than natural events like earthquakes. We choose how to respond to them. I've been going to supernatural conventions, so they tend to be big Lost fans and big supernatural fans, but it's usually for both of those. Walking on the street, people are really into Lost. But on the convention circuit, it's Lucifer. It's not a monster movie, it's a supernatural thriller. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.